What it do, crispy crew? Now, I wasn't originally going to make this video, but something has been making me increasingly more and more angry as I scroll through it on TikTok. So, as per normal fashion, as Devin Crispy usually does, I'm bringing this issue to the YouTube channel so you guys can hear me rant about something right quick. This is not really gonna be a highly edited video. It's really just gonna be me talking about hip hop and specifically the underground scene. Now, if you're somehow new here, then you might not know that I'm a really big fan of hip hop, let alone the underground scene of hip hop. Indie music of all kinds is something that I like a lot, but underground hip hop is something that I especially hyperfixate on. And more about that coming later, but that's gonna be much, much later. Remember correctly, I believe the original discussion started from Anthony Fantano. I believe he made a video. If I have to double check. Matter of fact, before I even confuse, let me double check. It was Anthony Fantano. I believe he did a review on Osama Sun's latest album. I don't remember what it was called. I don't listen to Osama Sun personally, but I think it's more of the sentiment of what he was getting at, that the whole discussion is kind of what's sparking, which I believe I need to put my 2 cents in. So if I remember correctly, the general argument kind of lasted in the fact of people saying, or I guess Fantano saying, yo, I guess traditional hip hop and the underground scene of rap, specifically like the rage subgenre, you know, the Ken Carsons, the Destroy Lonelys, the people similar to that, they cannot coexist, let alone be compared. Now, this is not verbatim what he said, but this is generally what the general consensus of what this nigga was talking about. And I disagree with that for so many points, but I'm going to start with the systematic reason for why this is bullshit. You niggas will sit here and actually listen to punk hip hop, punk rock, the most unpolished aspect of rock music of all time. But the second it's some underground music that's not as lyrically inclined as you want it to be, all of a sudden it's nah, that's not the same type of hip hop that can be compared to a Kendrick Lamar, a J. Cole. And yeah, obviously they're two different styles of music, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's really anti-black to try to deny what an actual black artist is bringing to their culture as something that's less than, because it's a different style. And while maybe a lot of people might be thinking, oh, why are you bringing race into this? It's always into this because hip hop has always been an inherently black thing. And I will never and if you, for whatever reason, are new to this channel or already a part of my channel and you think it's a dumb idea to bring race into music, specifically hip hop, the thing that has been started by black people, shit, every subgenre of rock, jazz, blues, R&B, hip hop, the list goes on, then you might just need to leave the channel. Unsubscribe from me, actually, if you already were. And on the chances you weren't, good, just click off the video. This isn't for you. But what you call it? No, yeah, I don't think that deciding that, that for whatever reason that they aren't valid in terms of the space of hip hop is just a little weird and anti-black, because now all of a sudden the culture that is constantly being redefined by black people because of the constant gentrification and the constant capitalistic enforcement that hip hop has been dealing with for the past 10 to 20 years, mostly because of people like P. Diddy and other record labels and things of that nature. But all of a sudden it's a bad thing. And that's why I'll never understand people's critique when it comes to the underground scene of hip hop. Whether you think it's bad is not the issue, but how you're critiquing it is kind of my issue, because now you're saying that because it's not lyrically inclined, or it doesn't has a certain sound, or it's not as polished, that it's not as valid as another polished industry piece. The underground in hip hop will always be inherently better, in my opinion, because of the fact that it is the one that has brought everything up. The underground is how hip hop started, and that was how it's supposed to be. If I remember correctly, within the last year, there hasn't been a single top 10 hit of hip hop, and I could be wrong. I really could, But if I remember correctly, I think the only person that's crossed that spot is maybe Drake and Kendrick. Everyone else has just been hit and miss, hit and miss, and hit and miss. And I believe that is a really good thing. I don't want my hip hop to be at the top of the charts because then all we do is get a lot of niggas like Drake who are just going for hits and not going to make music. I haven't listened to the Red Veal album yet, but it just came out, and I'm glad. And I'm really happy to listen to that because he is an artist that enforces what I like. People who make music for the love of the game and not trying to make money. You know, obviously, yes, you need to make everything profitable. So this and the third. So it has to do your best to, at the very least, make it, somewhat good. But good is subjective. So if you know your core audience, you know what they're gonna like and listen to anyway. So then all of a sudden, it's something that just kind of builds on top of each other. And that's what hip hop was always supposed to be. It was supposed to be something for the people. And that's why I'll never understand this random hate that a lot of white people who listen to hip hop have for the underground scene. Um, and it's not even just white people either. Sometimes there's a lot of internalized anti-blackness that a lot of people in my community even talk about it. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, I'm not listening to that shit because it doesn't have a lot of views," or "I'm not listening to that shit um, because it sounds horrible, or or it sounds like it was made on potato, or this, then the third." But you don't realize that's how people started. Niggas ain't liking music because of what they like. They're liking music because of it's popular. That's why a lot of artists, when they first come out, a lot of the time it's more of like niggas are saying, "Yo, this shit's ass, this shit's ass, this shit's ass," and then all of a sudden they gain enough of a fan base and enough of their music being reposted to the point where niggas like, maybe this isn't actually that fucking bad. It's happened with Summers, it's happened with Autumn, it's happened with SSG Kobe. I know, really bad art, really, like, in hindsight, really bad people to name right now, but just stick with me. It happened with Jace. Wildly enough, even though Yeat's white, it happened with Yeat too, wildly enough, back in the day, like, you can even bring it to like older scenarios. It happened with Lil Wayne, it happened with Kendrick, it happened with Drake, it happened with Soldier Boy, it happened with Fabo, D4L, it happened with fucking Metro Boomin and Futures when they first was like actually making music. It happened with Young Thug. It's happened with so many of these artists that when they first came out, niggas were saying this shit sucks. And very rarely have we seen them get popular and then the public perception immediately change. Obviously, with a few exceptions of folks being like, "Oh yeah, I'll always fuck to him." Okay, buddy. And if you actually did, that there's no issue with that. But the main issue is that people treat underground hip hop like it's this joke. Like they treat the underground like it's a joke, even though it's literally the foundation for what this genre was built upon. And you can't have the mainstream without the underground. The mainstream looks at what the underground does and tries to perfect it and make it marketable. That's literally all that happens. So whenever because like niggas be like, "Oh, I don't like the underground," and then we'll listen to Cardi for 3 hours straight. Who do you think he's getting the ideas from? Or they'll be like, "Oh, I hate the underground," and then listen to Lucky. Nigga, he was the king of the underground for damn near 10 years. Or niggas only listen to what's popular. And look, if you only like popular music, then hey, that's you. I'm not really going to tell you what to listen to on your Spotify or Apple Music or SoundCloud. Well, if you're using SoundCloud, there's no way you're listening to mainstream music because this shit's blocked off, but I digress. But no, I'm not going to tell you to listen to on your streaming service. But what I am going to say is that people need to stop talking about underground hip hop artists like they're lesser than because they drop less polished music, like they don't got less resources and less money to do the things that they need and want to do. I feel like it's really disingenuous to be out here praising a Kendrick Lamar like he didn't have the same start as an Osama Sun. It just looked differently. That was the issue. I would say Osama Sun blew up off of the internet. Well, Kendrick Lamar did too, but it was different back then. It was like the blog era, literally called the blog era. So it was like, if you didn't get on those blogs, there was a high chance your shit wasn't getting pushed the same way as like, a bigger artist, for lack of better terms. It felt like I'm saying a whole lot of nothing, but I promise I'm not. Like, I think that the whole aspect of not not respecting the rage art subgenre is really, like, even if you want to take out the anti-blackness, it's really stupid and it lacks a lot of actual reasoning, because the issue is that if you somehow decided, this subgenre isn't real rap, you can use that argument for damn near anything, and especially for rock, because the same people who usually say this shit about, like, the plug and b, the rage rap and all these other subgenres of hip hop that they don't deem as real hip hop or can be compared to the traditional side of things, they will like the random 38,000 fucking subgenres of metal music. It's like night and day. Well, not even night and day. It's like a clockwork. It happens so fucking often. So I'll never understand that. That's so weird to me. That's so weird to me. So I don't know. Um, if you like the video, be sure to like it and then subscribe. Share it with a friend, and I don't know, leave a comment or something. I don't know. I would hope that you do literally any of those things. But if you don't, hey, this video was just for me to rant. But I'm gonna have to catch y'all later. And oh yeah, look, at the time of recording, look out soon within the next week, because I might be posting it the same day as recording, if I remember correctly. Be sure to look out for other videos involving the Marvel Tokon beta, and some other videos that I have planned involving Marvel Rivals actually as well. So be sure to look out for that. In the meantime, y'all have a good day.